Hello everyone, Brad Bergstrom, lucky enough to be the superintendent here for Sauk Rapids Rice Public Schools, coming to you with a video that will hopefully help share some additional information in regards to the governor's announcement on Thursday, May 6th, in the state's plan to begin lifting restrictions towards COVID-19. I want to do a couple of things in this short video with you. Number one, I want to identify some key dates and then talk a little bit about, with one of those key dates, some things that are happening on the front end. Then I want to talk about some things that are staying the same, because even though there's going to be a movement towards some of these restrictions ending, there are still some things that are going to be staying the same and impacting staff, students, etc. In the district. And then I want to talk about those things that are going to be changing and when some of those things might be taking place. So let's start first of all with the three key dates. Our three key dates are May 7th, May 28th, July 1st. So let's talk about May 7th first. One of the key things that has happened to begin with is that outdoor activities with less than 500 people, no longer is there a requirement for a face covering. So if you come watch a lacrosse game, a baseball game, a softball game, etc., and there's less than 500 people, face coverings will no longer be required. Should be noted that if there's more than 500 people, face coverings will be required. But effective May 7th, outdoor activities less than 500, no longer required to have a face covering. What is then staying the same as we look through the end of the school year here in Sauk Rapids Rice Public Schools? First of all, when you're indoors, the face covering requirement that we've had all year is still in place. That hasn't changed when you are inside. Face coverings, if you're on a school bus, in a district van, transportation, etc., still required to have that in place. Social distancing to the extent possible, still staying in place through the end of the school year. Two other quick key pieces: our safe learning plan will still be in place through the end of the school year. And then finally, the MDH developed the decision tree for when we have close contact tracing and when people are symptomatic. That will stay in place through the end of the school year. Now the question might be asked, well, what's the end of the school year, Mr. Bergstrom? And the end of the school year is being defined as June 3rd of 2021. We know that our seniors are graduating on June 1st, but the end of the school year is defined as June 3rd of 2021. So those are some of the things that are staying the same. So then what is changing with this? Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, again, I talked earlier about effective May 7th, the face covering piece is changing. It just doesn't apply to our activities and our events that are outside. It also applies to any of our, with recess, dining, anything that's outside, long as it's less than 500 people, effective May 7th, face covering is not required anymore. Starting May 7th, they are going to be increasing the capacity for indoor events with controlled access. And for those indoor events, so the number right now is at 25% of capacity. Once they increase those, we can have more people. But it is important to note that face coverings will still be required for those indoor events. They're also going to increase the capacity for outdoor events with controlled access. That's taking place also effective May 7th. More information to come with those as well. We don't have specifics with that yet. Another piece which moves to this May 28th date that's going to be really important is all restrictions on capacity and social distancing requirements for all the events will be lifted. And that is May 28th. However, a couple of things. Face coverings indoors will still be required, and then face coverings for outdoors with 500 plus people will still be required. Okay, and that is on May 28th. And then come July 1st, or when 70% of Minnesotans ages 16 and older have been vaccinated, all mandates will be lifted on all events for both indoors and outdoors. So again, looking back on some of the key highlights with this, number one is that many of our indoor requirements effective May 7th through the end of the school year will be staying in place, including the face coverings indoors and in our vehicles, the safe social distancing, the safe learning plan will still be followed, and the quarantining piece will still be in play through the end of the school year, being defined as June 3rd of 2021. What's changing is outdoor activities with less than 500 will be face masking or face coverings will no longer be required. They're going to increase the capacity for indoor events, and we'll be learning more about what those specifics might be, but face coverings will still be required. And then on May 28th, the restrictions on capacity and social distancing for all events will be lifted. However, face coverings will still be required indoors, and then face coverings for 500 plus people will still be required through May 28th, starting May 28th. And then the biggest news is that come July 1st, or when 70% of our Minnesotans ages 16 and over have been vaccinated, all mandates will be lifted on all indoor and outdoor events. So that's a little bit of a summary of what the governor's message was. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We are looking forward to seeing these restrictions going to the wayside. We appreciate everybody's help in doing the right thing to keep COVID-19 at bay, and have a great rest of your day, and go Storm.